Here we are, and at the start of Gold, I think everyone would have said, you're crazy if we said that in the decider, in the playoff, we would have Vinchester versus Nicov. Vinchester won the first season of Titans League, beating all the big names and looked really, really good. And then in the second season, a lot of people surprised him. He lost some games, and it was the same for Nicov in another group. And fast forward 6 more months, we're here, Dave. Vinch Nicov will be a heartbreaker for whoever loses. Winner does move back to Plat. What are you thinking about this series? What's going to be, the difference between these two players? Because they're both so good at everything.
I think it's going to be the form that Vinchester is on today. Yeah. Or whenever they played these games, because we are casting Rex, but I think they weren't played that long ago.
That was yesterday, I think.
Nicov has become such a consistent player. It's crazy, right? He used to be inconsistent a little bit, but now he's looking pretty good, and Vinchester has kind of become the more inconsistent of the two. Sometimes he's, sweeping people that you would expect it to be a close series, and then other times he's losing to Yaks.
Yep.
2-1.
2-1.
Right? So we'll see what he can pull out today. I have noticed that with this generation of Spiral, it's kind of weird where the two shorefish set up in the center, as they're both kind of contesting over these hurdles here. Usually you want to set your dock up near those, but they're like really far forward.
Yeah, and players won't really thoroughly scout them sometimes. So you're like, where do I go? That is something that Nikov's going to have to walk towards to find. But yeah, I actually agree with you. I think last year, if we were casting these two, I think I would lean towards Vinch, because Vinch was a lot more consistent. But Nicov has become more consistent, and I don't think it should be controversial to say that Nicov has brought a much higher level in TTL Gold. His level against Sebastian, his level against Hart, all the big names in his group, really, really strong. And Vinchester's had some weird ones, dude. Like, I think he's learned some lessons, but it's been weird at times with his strategies.
Not even just TTL, like other tournaments as well. Vinchester, at some points, he looks like a top 3 player in the world, and then at other times, he looks like a top 20 player, right? Nicov is just like, he always looks like he's at that, 10th position or something like that, where he's hovered around for the past year or so. So it's going to be interesting. Nicov does actually go out for that dock in between those two shorefish. Vinchester has gone out for his as well. And it's going to be Byzantines against Malians, both really good hybrid civilizations. I think Byzantines, if you're contesting like castle positions, can be really strong here. But Malians are just going to have a lot of tricks available for them. A lot of tools in the tool bag.
Yeah, and Malians also can just afford to do a bit more in the early stages because of the wood discount and all their buildings. So I think for Nicov, he'll recognize that. He'll be a bit more defensive in how he plays. I don't know where he's going with this random villager. Okay, just making a house there now. But and I think Vinchester will use that flexibility to try and get some early leads here.
This is bills on fish for Nicov, by the way.
3.
Interesting. Yeah, usually you see 2. We saw 1 from Dragonstar, and he lost it right after I said, you want to send 2.
You want to send 2? Yep.
Just in case. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was something Dragonstar regretted. But maybe this is Nicov thinking, slightly faster feudal age because the Malians will be so aggressive. But I think both players could consider to go forward dock, especially Byzantines. If you see the water, you just know your opponent's going to have a dock there. So that's something to look out for. And then it seems like the berries is pretty far away for them in this generation. So I think they'll want to be low risk in the first game of an important series. And I'd be shocked if we were to see villagers go out to the berry area.
Yeah, I think maybe like your 4th or 5th TC if you already have something set up. Castles or whatever, you go out there. But you're not going to risk it all for those berries. Feudal Age on the way for both players. Almost identical times. Nicov a little bit less idle TC time, and that's about it. As we see, both players are 3 fishing ships and 19 villagers.
You covered Nicov Sebastian, right? You saw that crazy series? It was the final series last week where Sebastian won 2-1. The last game was on this map, Incas versus Franks.
Don't think so.
Okay, so in that game, which if Nicov would have won, he gets first place, by the way.
There are 5 villagers coming forward from Nicov.
Ooh, okay. So he will go to the berries then. But in that game, dude, like, Sebastian was out of gold, and he had 12 vills and a mining camp in the middle gold, and Nicov had units passing it for like 10 minutes. And in a crunch moment, Nicov struggled, and I freaked out because he almost got his scout walled in there. But yeah, hopefully for Nicov, he remembers that gold's there this game, because it was a really frustrating thing to see. That was intense stuff there, though. If that scout gets trapped, you don't get to see what Vinchester's going for.
I like this. You know you're going to get caught up with. You're just taking the hits until you get to the hill, and then Vinchester has to respect that. And then you're hoping you're slightly faster than Feudal Age, which he is, and he gets a hit before Vinchester, and now we're kind of even on HP. That 2 seconds actually mattered, Tristan.
Yeah, and
it actually mattered here.
And now Vinch has the extra hit, and now that scout will be dead for Vinch, regardless of if he has a hill or not.
Yep.
Vinch needs to fall back to a spearman here and really hope that Nikov's scout trips or something. Yep, Hill wouldn't have done it anyways. And like we said, scout's important. And now Vinchester doesn't know that Nicov is over in that berry area taking all that food.
Mm-hmm. He's actually gone for the mill on the inside. The only player I've seen so far this season to go for the mill
on the inside.
On the inside. Yep. And it's satisfying. It is. It's very nice.
Okay, so you expect Byzantines to play in towards spears. You expect a little bit more from the Malians, and all we're seeing from Vinch, I think he's paranoid about his pond. Vinch is just going to add fire galleys and some of his own spearmen here, but Nikov's going to see the fires, and he's going to be like, I'm not on that area. Those fires can't come over to me, so that's actually an amazing thing for Nicov to find right now.
And it also means that the archer range is delayed if there's going to be archers on the field to counter your spearmen, right?
Yep,
so Nicov knows that Vinchester hasn't seen his villagers over on the berries. He knows now that the archers are delayed, and he knows that he can take some time to just set up his eco behind this. And he's actually going for a market, so no production whatsoever other than spearmen. This is a dream for Byzantines.
Yeah, this is great game sense from Nicov. Because, like you said, he fully recognizes with his scouting and then seeing the fires that there's no way that Vinchester's going to have anything beyond spearmen. So why not rush to Castle Age? And Vinch is he's out here without a scout, wandering around with spearmen. And dude, how many times is this going to happen with Vinch? He's getting early wheelbarrow because he gets housed. But he did it on El Dorado once when he had no farms. And then like here, I know you want to research something if you can't produce out of your TC, but I don't even think it's worth getting wheelbarrow at this stage of the game. Just be housed for a little bit.
Just lose a fish to a hit and run by that spearman? I think he did.
He must have. He lost
that fishing shit so quick, dude. I looked away for 1 second.
Yeah, he must have. Well, hey, I mean, that's the first real bit of eco damage we've seen in the game, so there is that.
Up at a really nice time. But he has sold his stone. Vinchester has not. And Vinchester will have wheelbarrow, I suppose.
I mean, it's not awful, but when you see the uptime from Nicov here in a second, and then your offensive army is 4 spearmen, it really does make you think if Vinchester's going to be able to transition into anything of real value here in early Castle Age.
What do you open with? I feel like, you could even open monasteries forward if you're Nicov.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would be the worst thing. You convert the fire galleys, and then you get a forward position here. You've seen your scout die now, and you haven't seen any archers or anything like that from Vinchester. No stable, nothing.
Yeah, I think
monastery camel.
Based on the fact that he's gone to stone, based on the fact he's adding a stable, I honestly think we'll see a scout to scout the map because he lost his. And yeah, if you see knights, add the camels. They're very cheap. But the big part of Nikov's strategy right now is actually this mill and deer area, because he hasn't farmed much at home. So he's probably going to town center in that region.
Oh, he's going to get that berry bush out of the way right as those villagers need to drop off that deer, and then they come in right to the mill.
I don't even know where we... Oh,
10 food on it.
That bush. Yeah. Okay, yep.
He's planned it all out.
Would you town center the food where you already have a mill, or would you town center like one of the golds or stones further away from that? Food.
You protect your vills there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's
dude, I think forward monastery here would do so much work, but I don't know if Nicov would go for something like that.
Vinch just now clicking up, by the way. Just now clicking up. Adding some archers now, which makes sense when there's spears, but I imagine Nicov, he's going to be able to get a pretty significant lead with this, and he's going to open Knight, which could be great if he could get through to Vinch's base. But like we said, Nicov very consistent. I think he always has a strong vision on how to play the map. The problem for him was Hart is playing his best Age of Empires ever and just got past him via a tiebreak in the group. And then Sebastian, I think, also playing his best Age of Empires ever, as stronger than he was when he was in Platinum before. So that's why Nicov ended up being in a three-way tie there and falling into third. But it hasn't been Nikov's struggles, though I am looking at the lack of horsecollar when he's going 3 TCs and wondering if he's going to forget that one as he transitions into
He doesn't have a single farm, dude. He doesn't care.
Yet.
He doesn't have a single farm.
If you go too far,
it's fine.
Then you can't go back, you know?
Don't get worried about something that doesn't matter yet, all right? That tree only has 20 wood left on it.
Ooh, true. This matters.
The spearmen are coming over. Nicov, one other thing as he goes for the monastery now, one other thing I would love to see is maybe some outposts on this forward hill near Vinchester with Byzantines.
Yep.
Low cost, and it gives you so much vision,
yeah.
right? Because you have town patrol as well.
Just build them everywhere, dude. Build them freaking everywhere. One in the middle, one on the left. Yeah, Pool and Nilly
makes more outposts than I've ever seen from anybody, and I love it too. It's great.
I think
Only
we
could
do
keep up with the information that's coming in.
I agree, but I think we do need to sit down with Nilly and have an intervention, because the amount of times he needs monks in an army, and he's going out to get a relic, or like he needs to focus on the fight, and he's going for some outposts is maybe a little too high. But no, that's a stylistic thing for him, obviously. And
Horsecollar came in before any farms, by the way.
Beautiful. Now, 3 years ago, he built 30 farms before remembering. It really is a meme at this point. It's not that attached to reality anymore with Nicov, the no horsecollar thing.
Yeah.
But I like what Vinch has been able to do. He's been able to expand to the left side, and he's going to drop town centers that Nicov could have potentially denied, but Nicov fully focused on just booming right now. He's gained a slight eco lead, but he doesn't really have a strong army position right now.
Can I submit a petition to have this map slightly edited to make the berries big enough so a TC can fit inside?
That feels like a big trap, dude. That, like, can you imagine? Your villagers would probably somehow hop the berries onto the other side, and then when they have to drop off the food, they have to walk around again.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an idea. I mean, you know, if I ever include this in an event again, I like to tweak stuff, right? So maybe we'll do that. Vinchester here with some archers and camels knocking on a Byzantine house. Probably shouldn't accomplish too much, as this game's definitely going late game with these economies. It's just a 10 eco lead for Nicov, and he's just got some spears, some mangonel. He kills the scout. Well played.
Nice attack around there. That was kind of sick. Demo, Nicov? Nikov's not really a demo type of guy.
No, I'm not a demo type of guy. I think that there's been many instances on this map where players should consider one. Even if you just have it around for later.
Just have it in the dock. It is a psychological, like, weapon. If they see a flag on their dock, they're not going anywhere near the pond.
Interesting, Nicov pulled Vills off stone. The only stone income he actually had was next to his TC. And honestly, Vinchester, I mean, I thought he'd be under some type of pressure, but Vinch is flowing right now. It's a little rough around the edges at the start, but 3 TCs pumping. Nicov reacting a lot. This is a pretty decent spot for Vinch at the moment, but is obviously still behind economically, and I think I prefer the Byzantines in the Imperial Age against most civilizations, honestly.
Yeah, especially on a map like this where you have castles to secure these little spirals. Like, having that extra HP is beautiful, right? And then your tech tree is just so wide open. You don't do anything particularly well, but you do everything just good enough.
Make a lot of units, right? You make a ton of units, and you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. But a couple things economically for Nicov, like the amount on food. He's got 28. 17 of that is underneath that 1 TC. What happens when he finishes that? Where do they go? What do? They have to find a whole new job, and that can be awkward with your eco balance. Whereas if you look at Vinch's eco, it's all farms for the most part, just a little bit of berries, and that can be better for the long term.
Uh-oh. Vinch.
Ooh.
This is such a Vinch moment right now.
It reminds me of the scorpions and the plumes from 2015, dude.
Yeah, he's no longer that guy, I guess. He's going to micro against 2 mangonels with 5 crossbows. He's going to pull him out of position. Nicov gets a good attack down on those camels, and he's going to get some conversions, but Vinchester with some fantastic micro there.
You see, both players want a castle, and Nikov's going to place his right here. It's cheaper to go imp with the Byzantines. Now, where will Vinchester place it? He doesn't see that that's what Nikov's doing.
Good outpost in the north, by the way, from Nicov. You go to his point of view, he's got that entire
Huge.
side of the map under his vision. If he does that in the south as well,
which you have to expect at this point, right? I think Vinch is building up towards a castle in a spot that he will eventually cancel. When he sees that Nicov has a castle there, you have to bail. Because the Byzantines will likely win the Treb War if this goes to imp.
Yep. Byzantines also have Drummond, which could be massive.
They have what?
Drummond, do they not?
Oh, you mean the new ship?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the relevance. Yeah, I think they do.
Drummond is so much better than cannon galleons here.
When's the last time you saw a cannon galleon on this map, Dave?
Because Drummond's so much better.
I'm just saying. I mean, you said it'd be massive. I was like, oh, how?
You don't need chemistry. You can make it right away, and it can start ranging down that castle if you make a dock in the center.
I think it could be good. I agree.
I think you're just a doubter.
We haven't seen it one single time.
You didn't even remember what the unit was, bro. You didn't even remember what it was. You did not even remember what the name of it was.
Yeah, it did take me a second.
I refuse to acknowledge your opinion on this matter.
It did take me a second. I agree. You got me there. Oh, big shot here from Nicov. And Nicov, he's built a tower, which shows me that he's going to focus on the front. He's not going to defend his wood line too much. But he's on his way to imp, and Vinchester doesn't have gold income to go imp. He'd have to maybe sell a lot of his food or his stone even. But yeah, if it's free out of the dock and you don't need to wait for chemistry, I actually think they could be really strong. Because I have limited experience using that unit, but I think they're very strong.
It's like a C mangonel, right? If you're going for, pikemen or crossbows or whatever, it's a solid option.
Speaking of sea mangonels, Nicov just used his 2 mangonels on the sea to kill a fire ship.
Nice.
I agree with what you said earlier. You've got full vision on the middle and the right side.
Outposts in the
Get some outposts on the left. Yep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're Biz, you just push middle anyways, right? There's so much gold there. You could probably treb down Vinchester's castle pretty easily. So I think that's where the focus will be for Nicov, who's been super light on army all castle.
I love this outpost on the hill in front of Vinchester's base as well. You just get so much vision. That entire area. What is that castle position from Vinchester? Hang on a second. What are we doing?
Get the drama. Dude, we might see the drama if this goes up. There's a dock right there. This is the perfect time.
Don't pretend like you know what the unit is.
Listen,
I know.
I just wanted to make you look good, so I just resisted the idea, That's all I'm here for. I mean, Vinchester recognizes that Nicov has been really low on army production, probably waiting for imp, and he says, let's make this game messy. And I freaking love this castle from Vinch. There's another one from Nicov. He just used the market.
Nicov goes for a castle there. Make a Drummond. You don't need chemistry. Make one now.
Dave,
remember that you have that unit.
If I hesitated with Drummond, these guys, they're never going to make it, all right? They're going to go for Trebs. This is a messy situation. Nikov's monks are exposed. His mangonels are exposed. His castle will go up. But Vinch has made this very messy here, which could bring him into a better position in this game after it's all said and done.
Who goes for a castle like that?
Vinch, dude. Vinch in 2023.
Even Lix in his craziest moment wouldn't go for a castle like that. That is wild.
And Vinch, he's put Nicov into a position where he's just on Archer. Nicov was so late. He doesn't have the eco set up to go for Arbalest or anything. He's just going for Trebs. Lots of idle time for Nicov. He's lost 4 Statine eco. And Vinchester's just lost 1. And Vinchester's castle, dude, that's making the Gebettos right now, that is not going to be Treb down now. Because Nicov has to send his Trebs for the other castle.
I mean, if only there was a unit that you could take that castle out with without using Trebs.
Oh, man. Gebetto
we just
actually
don't have the technology.
I mean, think about it. Nicov, you're in the Imperial Age. You're on Archer right now. Things have not gone according to plan. It was too defensive. And this I'll say about Vinch, his openings have been weird in TTL, but if he gets going, it's just all autopilot, and he can use his speed, and he uses his map control and awareness and his experience. So this is really good for Vinch at the moment.
It's just such a sick play to go for that castle there.
Yep.
Yeah, especially when you've been fighting against mangonels over on that side that entire time, and you just know you need to buy yourself a little bit of time. You're not trying to get a push rolling here, although he does have that random siege workshop next to it. You're just trying to buy time.
I mean, he's making a bombard cannon out of that siege workshop, but maybe a little too ambitious here to hold this position. He's going to now castle Nicov in the south, Dave. And Nicov dropped the tower, realizing that gold was exposed, but he's not going to be able to take the gold once the castle's up. And
how much you want to bet Nicov gets chemistry, tries to go for a cannon galleon, and then realizes he has drama instead?
He's never going to make a drama. Just let it. It's not going to happen. He doesn't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. Like, unfortunately, the reason for making the drama's kind of gone now because the one castle's down. But I guess the other one's also still near the water.
Yep.
Chemistry's probably for bombard cannons at the moment.
Hand cannon, bombard cannon.
Now, what's the army for Nicov?
For the crossbow. He's been making some crossbows along the way, and he's shifting them over with his trebs. So he's keeping the spearmen and his monks near his trebs. He's got the crossbows to snipe down the Gabetto, and he's shifting the trebs over towards this area, and he's going to set up on that hill, start ranging this castle. So it might be a little bit of an overextension from Vinchester at the end of the day. Like, he's done a good job buying himself time, but you lose 2 castles pretty quickly. And that's a lot of stone down the drain.
Shout out to that bombard cannon from Vinchester on the right side. Let's not forget about that guy. I think Vinch might have forgot about him. And Nicov
hasn't forgotten.
He needs to take this castle out. He can't lose these trebs. It feels like the crossbow should be enough, but Vinchester with some nice split micro does take 1 treb.
Doesn't matter.
And now takes 2, but yeah, the castle's down. And Nicov, his
treb goes down.
His cheap units, that's worth it. But his cheap units, or in this case, just like, good, solid gold compositions working out. Vinchester's losing a bombard cannon to villagers and a cataphract. Things have not gone according to plan there. Now he's going to click Cavalier Date, but there's no flow to the game anymore for Vinchester. The forward castle was crazy, but he never had a follow-up.
Yeah.
And he's falling apart now to Nicov.
It feels like you go for that forward castle, you don't go for the second one. You set it up behind, and you try and get your army rolling, because that castle was just to buy you time, but he got a little bit lost in the sauce there, right? He's like, oh, this is working. It went up. Let's go for another one. And,
God.
Nicov has done a great job to stabilize. Why are these crossbows not attacking the bomber?
But Nicov, I mean, you would never expect one to pop out. And now Nicov sees it. And I think Nikov's in the driver's seat now because he's got 2 defensive castles. He's Byzantines. And now he can waltz forward with another castle. And it's just so difficult for Vinch. He maybe has 1 cav wave to attempt here, which he's building up towards, but he doesn't really have that much on gold. And Byzantines have so many counters to Cavalier. The cheap halbs, the cheap camels, all of that's a great option for him.
Yeah, this is just a good setup for Byzantines now.
We'll say this.
As long as he repairs that castle at home, should be okay. He's got the castle in the center. He's got kind of pseudo control over this gold in the middle.
I mean, Nicov isn't able to use his arbs to do anything except attack that TC. Yeah. And Vinchester has 2 bombard cannons and a treb. And Vinchester, he could take that castle out, and suddenly all that eco's raidable. Let's get interesting. Nicov popped out with his own cannon now.
Ooh,
good micro there. And good job from Vinch to pull back as well, we should say. Get more cav.
Eco for Vinchester is looking better than Nicos, but Nicov is Byzantine, so he doesn't need it as much. Going into heavy camels, cheaper camels, and he has full vision on the north side, so he can just keep all of his focus here in the south as he continues to just take out that TC with Arbalest.
Yep, it's going to go down. There we go. And I mean, the gold's wide open for him. If Nicov continues to move to the left, Vinch will lose all those vills. And this is precious time for Nicov to catch up on upgrades he was missing, like ballistics, getting heavy camel, prepping the armor upgrades. And it just feels so difficult. Like, Vinch needs a monster fight here, probably before any more camels come forward. He has to get a big fight somewhere. I just don't know if you can ever get the numbers, Dave. He doesn't have the time. He's pop capped.
He's waiting for Farimba, but he's pop capped. He can't produce more Cavalier and heavy camels in. Too bad. That sucks.
Yep. Now, Farimba's gonna mean he gets a lot more value here, but the bonus damage from the camels and the sheer amount of arbs means that I think the game ends here.
Yeah. You just got mowed down.
Yeah.
That was your big army. That was your counterattack. Unfortunately, you were housed, so you could make more. And, well, your gold supply is being cut off in the south. You've got some gold a little bit further north than that, but Nicov is pushing in now. More bombard cannons, more trebs, more camels, thumb ring as well. Vinchester's trying to push in the center, and he gets a good snipe on the bomber cannons from Nicov, but he loses one of his own, maybe two here.
And he's just never going to be able to take that castle out. And you're staring at your screen now just like, oh, man, how did I let myself get to this position? How am I in a playoff against Nicov? Where?
From the forward siege workshop.
What?
Get him!
What's happening, Vinchester?
Get him!
How does this happen?
No! Nikov's going to be so paranoid when he sees that. He's like, wait, what unloaded from there?
I mean, we said it in Dark Age. There's just been some weird plays from Vinch. It hasn't seemed himself. What is that? Like, how does that happen? You're not even on that side of the map.
I don't know. Misclick.
Maybe he actually wanted to put hand cannons inside of him, and he didn't have a defensive siege workshop. He doesn't actually have many at home. But he's getting mowed down, Dave, and I'm sure he's going to have to accept it soon. And Nicov, I think, is going to be letting out a sigh of relief, because while it looked good for Nicov for a while there, when that castle came forward in his base, it looked like anything could have happened. So that was a ridiculous game, and Nicov gets the win.
I could hear Nikov's voice in my mind. I think I've been watching too much of his stream. It's just, what is the castle? What's that?
It definitely is one of those things where you're like, I should never lose to that, but it's so ridiculous and throws you for such a loop that sometimes it works out. So, Vinchester lacked control in the game. He didn't open all that strongly in Feudal Age, played in towards Castle Age and a Boomfest, which just brought us closer and closer to Imp. And in Imp, Nicov used his civilization so well there. And, he took the gold in the middle, which he failed to do in that series against Sebastian. And he looks complete. So Vinchester will have to turn it around. It's a best of 5. Good game, though. Nicov, I love the vision, the timing on upgrades, the transitions. It seems like he's clicking on all cylinders right now. Here we are, game 2 in this decider. Let's see if Vinchester can turn it around. And Vinch has gone for the Franks on a map where you typically see a lot of scouts. Nicov and Vinch were apparently having conversation in the lobby right before this, where they're talking about 9-Ville starts. Good stuff. 3 Villes here. Sorry, guys.
Do you feel attacked? Do you feel personally attacked by that?
I wanna say so many things, but I'm not gonna say it. I like 9 Villes, all right, but I don't want to start the conversation, and Dave knows we shouldn't start the conversation now. So we're gonna move on.
Yep.
Ranks, lots of stable units. Viper kind of started the Teutons pick on Lands Madness a couple years back. I think it was actually Empire Wars. And like the very first Red Bull, and Teuton's actually really solid matchup against the Franks here.
Yep. I think he might have lost with Teutons against Yo.
I think it was he did. I think
but
against Slavs.
But then he did win Red Bull 5 Game 7 with Teutons.
With Teutons, which was just like the most epic redemption
that
story.
Was so scripted. Yeah. It was so scripted. I remember saying it was scripted at the time, and I specifically remember getting a Twitter message saying, "What do you mean it was scripted?" What do you mean?
Yeah, well, problem
I don't
is,
mean anything by it, bro.
One person might think that actually is because you said that. That's the problem. So
yeah.
So, I mean, the main weakness of Teutons we should mention is they're poor against Cav Archer civilizations. Mobile archers in general, Teutons struggle with. They don't get husbandry, so they're slow. And if they're not going knights, they're usually going infantry, which is even slower. Franks are not one of those mobile archer civilizations. I do actually remember a rare game where MBL went Cav Archers once with Franks, but doubt that's the play here. And then, otherwise, I guess dude just got slightly slower knights, but the extra melee armor, the infantry armor, the cheap farms, it feels all very natural here for Lands Madness.
I love how you mention Frank Cav Archers, and then you say immediately after Doubt was the play. Or Doubt was the play. Yeah. It works.
We've
seen him do it.
Yeah. Doubt's tried it too. I mean, you do get more HP on your Cav Archers, but I don't know what it equates to. I think it's like 70 HP on Castle Age Cav Archers. I'd have to do math, which I'm not very fond of.
It's like 60-something, I think.
60-something, yeah.
Yeah, Teuton Cav Archers would probably be better.
Yeah, that's fair. At least in Castle Age.
The battle, it would be an aggressive mid-off between the two of them.
Listen, dude, we saw Korean Cav Archers, so...
Yeah.
But Korean Cav Archers, there's actually a legitimate reason right now. I think it's borderline underrated. But, man, Nicov got gifted a nice little woodline on the back. This doesn't always happen on Land Madness, so that should be... or Nicov, rather, should be a bit comfortable there.
He can set up the walls to the edge of the map and have a gigantic woodline underneath.
And
like, this is amazing. He's going to go to the left side, have 2 woodlines, 2 golds, and the berries secure. Like, that's insane, dude, for Land Madness. That's such a good setup. I mean, Vinchester can do something similar, actually, and Vinchester actually is a really good map for that, too.
You just can't wall on the little pebble rock terrain, so
but
you can't use the woodline.
If you think about the amount of walls, they'd set up the same amount of walls to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually quite nice for both.
I think it's way easier to envision said walls for Nicov, though. Like, it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you we can't see his perspective, but just to make sure there wasn't a gap on this right side, he probably checked the whole thing and was just panning over with the palisade. Like, right there, you see how the wall stopped? Is there going to be a 1-tile gap there? Can he not wall that?
I was coughing. Where?
Yeah, on the right, I'm thinking there's a little bit of rock there. He's baiting us so hard right now. I need to know if he can full wall that. Because if he can't full wall it, this is obviously a problem, Dave. Okay, never mind.
Okay. He was baiting us so hard.
Whoa, man, this gives me flashbacks. I played ACCM in like the Open Classic or something, and I think we all know what the score was in that best of 5. But this could happen with Land Madness, where one player can envision the walls, and then the other guy shows up and is like, "What in the world? I thought we were playing open," and sees the walls, and just doesn't know what to do. So, yeah, it was close for sure. I mean, it's not something to get excited about either if you're a Land Madness fan, but Nicov wants to get back to Plat. He was really bummed when he got relegated, and I spoke to him a lot, actually, after that happened. I'd sent Vinch a message as well, but Nicov and I actually really talked about it. He was moving, a lot of other things were happening at that time. And I think his words were, "It's okay, I'll just take my anger out on the gold plebs." And so for him to be back in gold again next season would definitely be seen as a missed opportunity, I guess, for him. Oh my God, though, Nicov. Oh my God, what are these walls?
Just go FC at this point. Just go FC. Just do it. Just do it, dude. You've committed so much.
So I guess he just goes.
Look at the walls from Vinchester, though. Vinchester's going for the even bigger walls. He's not even walling to the TC. He is walling out, and he's going to secure 3 woodlines.
What is this?
He is one-upping Nicov.
How many times have walls been nerfed? Do we need another one? What is happening? I mean, you do need to make sure you don't lose his villager here, Vinch. Because, you've got to have a scout here to protect. But yeah, I think realistically, Vinchester will have pretty big walls as well. That's wild. All right. Well, I mean, do you have any ideas on what we talk about? Because I mean,
I'm just gonna zoom out and we can look at this. I'm just have the whole map on one screen.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yep. I do like how Nicov expected his opponent to go scouts, and he, as Vinch is blocking here, he walled in front of his TC instead of towards the TC, because scout players will run by the TC these days because TCs don't hit anything. So that was smart, and I also left him space for farms, which was a nice touch. Vinch making 4 scouts isn't that big a deal, in my opinion. Yes, he can't get damage with it, but you could still use that to scout the map, and you feel a bit more secure.
How hilarious would it be if Nicov came forward with villagers and tower rushed them?
Yeah, just like turns this into some type of offense, yeah.
Yeah, with the scouts there, I don't think it's very viable, but that would be funny. If he saw the full walls and he's like, I'm fully walled behind.
In all honesty, when he completes these walls, like, why not just use a scout and push in the extra deer to your TC? Like, he did actually make another mill on berries in the back, which I love for Vinch. Just killed the spearman as well, and Nikov's going to kill the weak scout, but Nicov doesn't have any more scouts than this, so you do not want to lose that.
take advantage of your bonuses, right? Mill the berries.
Yeah.
Screw it.
It's
Go
good.
push in the deer at the back there. And Nicov taking advantage of his. He's going to get the cheaper farms up.
Yeah.
Just now going for a stable and going out to gold. And now it's just a race to Castle Age. And I guess we got to talk about the Civ matchup in Castle Age. I mean, I like the Teutons. They have the extra armor. They have conversion resistance, which is fantastic when you're going knights versus knights. And if you get into the late game, it should just carry through.
Yeah, agreed. I think Franks with the cheaper castles. Easier to play defense in some ways, but I mean, the more I think about it, Teutons might even have more defensive options. Teutons are harder to kill off.
Yeah. Who do you think has more Palisades here? Vinchester or Nicov? I'm going to count them. You just guess.
You're going to count them or you're going to double click? There's a big difference.
I'm going to double click.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to count one at a time.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I'm just clarifying. I think Vinch has more.
Okay.
I'm checking now.
Not even close. Vinchester has 50 and Nicov has 71.
Yeah, but Vinch used a lot of houses and a lot of buildings, which is what I should have accounted for. That makes sense. Okay, well, also Vinchester didn't wall as early, so his villagers were actually collecting resources. So in theory, Vinch should have more res, and Vinch does. He has 300 more resources collected right now due to that. This would, dude, if there was ever a time to try sneak cav archers, though, you've got walls.
This is it. Yeah, you got so much space behind.
Look at his wood. He's not farming a lot. I could see it. I'm just saying, especially because of how weird Vinchester's been playing, how sneaky he's been. Come on, Vinch.
Dragonstar would do it.
Yeah, Dragonstar would be all over that, man. Let's go.
Especially against Teutons. Like,
yeah, I think he...
With no husbandry on your knights, I think the catching up to the cav archers is an issue, right?
Yeah. I think he's expecting to just drop town centers and boom, use the scouts to pick off any monks. But
do it, Vinch. I want to see 3 archer ranges right now. Do it.
It feels like it's either a big 3 TC boom or he's going to add the ranges soon. But I'm leaning more towards that boom. Seems like he's even happy to delay farms before he gets the next farm upgrade for free in the next age. 3 mills on berries, though, is pretty sick with the Franks thus far. Not something you would ever see if Nicov would have played open and aggressive here.
And it also, like, why are you dropping the farms now? Just wait till you get to Castle Age. You'll get the upgrade for free.
It's fine. It's fine. You know what does hurt, though, is dropping your TCs on a wood line. Whereas Nicov has actually chopped enough space where maybe he could consider a second TC in that wood area.
A hill there, I think.
Oh, yeah, the hill. The hill. Yeah, you're right. The hill wouldn't make that possible. Yeah, TC spots on this map are annoying. Dude, if he has the wood to go 4 TCs right away, he just doesn't have the stone yet, Vinch. This is ridiculous.
Vinch hasn't even... Dude, he's going to go 4 TCs. Like, he hasn't even made another stable.
Yeah.
He's just made a couple extra scouts, and he's going to do it.
He hasn't scouted that Nicov has added the second stable. So Nikov's going to open pretty aggressively with knights, and I think not knowing that could mean that you get caught off guard later on.
Monastery.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And there go the TCs. Wood upgrade, horse collar. Oh, man, these eco upgrades are going to be smooth for Vinch. And Vinch now finds the TC from Nicov, which he had to leave his base to place. But well played from Nicov to get these palisades down. Had he not done that, would have been disastrous. So,
what a battle here, folks.
Good stuff. Yeah, what a battle. We had 2 spearmen and a scout die thus far, and we've had 70 palisade walls versus 50 palisade walls and a couple houses. It is just... intense.
It's an interesting development on the left side of the map, though. I really like this. Is the most fascinating thing happening in the game currently.
Vinch will click that somewhere, too. He's going to send it to, like, a stone or a gold. That's the play. Or he's going to try and save it. I don't know what's happening. Those tigers are hungry, though.
They're great.
Is he going to save that thing? What in the world? Like have upgrade on the way for Vinch. Does have husbandry, so he will be able to outrun Nikov's knights pretty easily, as well as kill that scout. There comes the spear. Oh, excuse me, 71 palisades. How dare I? He's going to save the spearman from the tigers.
Is he? Is he, though?
No.
Is he though? Is he though?
Oh,
Dude.
Betrayed.
Betrayed.
What have you done?
Yeah. Betrayed.
Third
Funny,
TC
who's gonna be host?
Third TC coming up for Nicov. I like how he hasn't even made a gate. He just deletes his palisades and replaces them. I'm a gator.
So Vinchester has a lot of faith in these two monks and this one layer of palisade walls.
True. Yeah. Look at him though. I think Vinch will maybe work towards pikes and castle drops. Because he's dropping 4th TC and dropping another barracks. But honestly, he won't have the res for pikemen for a while.
No.
So
these scouts these light cav aren't doing too much either.
Well, I mean, they've made it so Nicov can't really freely move out to get relics. But unfortunately, Vinchester, he can't move out freely either because it's Teuton Knights. And he probably won't get conversions on them. What a boomy freaking game. Dude, imagine the compositions here, right? We could see, like, pikes against the knights, and then Teutonic knights against the pikes.
No, usually this civ matchup, it's like hand cannon, bomber cannon.
It's like Halb, hand cannon. I know, but just like, be creative, okay? Like,
okay, I'll let
Teutonic knights,
go ahead. Or
like throwing axemen from Vinch with his pikes, and then Teutonic knights against that, because Teutonic knights are actually really good.
Ironclad capped rams?
Yeah, exactly. Capped rams. Wasn't expecting capped rams after you said ironclad, but yep. Crenellation's no joke. Will be really effective here, I feel.
Really good against Franks. Really, really good. It forces them into trebs, and you can snipe it down with your cavalry, right?
Cav or your bombard cannons, yep.
Yep.
So, it's become a late game type of game, which, I feel it's a bit easier to play the Teutons, and that's what Nicov wanted. So, this should play out towards his advantages.
He actually got that conversion. That's crazy.
He did. Look at Nicov, though, try and run away with his monk. He's like, please don't see me. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. And that'll be relic number 1 for Nicov. I'm surprised at how many knights Nicov made, but I'd like it a whole lot more if he follows it up with some pressure, too, like a castle or a siege push. Because otherwise, the knights haven't really accomplished anything, and they're not breaking through anytime soon without any more additional support. Where will Vinch place this castle? I think he's paranoid of a push because he's seen the knights, so it wouldn't surprise me to see, yep, castle very safe. Right there seems fine. Still no pikemen yet. So if it is going to be pikes later on for Vinch, it'll have to wait, and actually doesn't... Oh, he can build the house that way. Okay, never mind. A little house wall. Nicov still can't break in. Vinchester's bringing the monks over. He will house wall out the monks. The monks will start conversions. Nicov will probably run away then. And he sees the monks and runs away. Relic number 3 for Nicov, though. So he'll have the relic lead, guaranteed. Are you jumping out of your seat yet with excitement, Dave?
I've got the Jeopardy music running in the background, I'm not going to lie. Rip Alex.
Oh, man.
Alex died for this.
I do like how Vinch has farmed outside of, or within his walls, right? Like, if you look at where he's farming, he's expanding to the north. Nicov is expanding kind of forward with that farming eco. There's a bit of space you could maybe be utilizing in the back of his base, and I think that could play a role.
Once Nicov has castles set up on like this hill to the left, there's a hill in the middle, a hill to the right. He could play it as slow as he wants here. He could play a slow, grindy game because that's always going to benefit the Teutons over the Franks.
I think that's why Vinch is starting to move out now. He's starting to make pikes. He's hoping that he can build a forward castle on that right side, but Nikov's already sending Vils to build his own castle there, so that should be up. Nicov on the way to Imp as well. Yeah, Vinch is definitely walking forward here.
Yeah, imagine going Axeman against Teutons. What a Chad play that is. Holy.
It's actually one of the worst units to make against
the
Teutons.
Worst. Dude, it's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, there goes Vinch, and he had done a similar thing against Capoch with Franks where he went pike forward castle. It was not Teutons, though, and it wasn't this type of game, and he sees that castle now, and I think he's going to think about Imp, and he has to decide on where he places this next castle, and he's just going to place it in the same spot. Just double down in that area.
But Vinchester is the one who needs to be pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see like Crenellations being a prioritized tech here for Nicov once he sees the Imperial Age timing from Vinchester. Obviously, you want to upgrade your knights and stuff first, but once you get the castles down safely, it's beautiful.
Do you have to even worry? Nice quick walls here from Nicov. Do you have to even worry about Halb if you're Teutons?
Not really.
Can you just go full paladin and just catch him off guard?
Well, you're gonna get chemistry anyway. You could just go full. You could
paladin
go
hand cannon,
paladin hand cannon, or even cavalier hand cannon, and everything dies. Right?
Yeah.
It's just such a good matchup for Teutons.
Yeah, and Vinch is. I think it was the right play for Vinch to wall and like adapt to what Nicov did, but this is just trying to think of ways that he can change this game in the direction it's going, and it's not really that.
It's not Axeman.
Yeah, it's not Axeman. Yeah, I remember learning for the first time in CBA that Axemen do very little damage up against Teutonic Knights. Because you think Teutonic Knights, they struggle against range, but then it's melee damage. And those bad boys are armored up. Oh, Nicov really laid on armor for his cap. Just now getting the Feudal Age armor. That could delay things. But his Knights are going to find Vils.
Yeah, they're going to find Vils, and even if they don't stop for these Vils, they could run right into Vinchester's base. I think it just clicked them right into Vinch's base, and that's going to be equally as annoying if he gets in there.
I mean, maybe? Vinch could quick wall. That's a lot of pikemen.
Nicov was busy somewhere else.
Yeah, he definitely was.
But he's found the Vils regardless, and he pulls away again. He's going to attack that gate, and this gate's going to go down really quick. Vinchester needs to deal with this.
So Vinch trying to get convergence.
That's a tough quick wall behind. Oh, the Knights are in.
The Knights are going to be in. And now all your pikes are on the front. But yeah, no Cavalier, no second armor. So these things are pretty vulnerable compared to what we thought would be happening. And the pikes from Vinch have killed a lot of Knights underneath Nikov's castle.
Look at him, Vinchester's base. Oh, God.
Oh!
It's a nightmare, dude. It's literally a nightmare.
A nightmare. It's soon going to be a cavmare. No, we'll find another word. Dude, this was the eco that was supposed to be safe for you, Vinchester. We complimented you for this.
It's a catastrophe.
Ah, there we go. But still, there could be trebs for Vinchester. He's sending pikes. Like, these pikes shouldn't be able to kill the cav as effectively because we're expecting all the armor, but the armor hasn't really happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's still bonus damage, right? Coming in as Halb is being teched into. But he's been cut off of all the farms at the back here. Nicov, it's just strange to me. Like, he clearly didn't see the Vils in the center.
Yeah,
could have denied that castle. And then he could have denied the castle again, but he pulled the Knights away because he was afraid. He does get in with the back raids here. And like we said, Teutons win this late game Civ matchup. So Vinchester needs to get something rolling with this push.
Yeah, I like this from Vinch. I mean, you got to do it, right? Fight underneath the castle, try and kill that trap. And he's going to get it. The Axemen actually come in clutch there. Then you back away.
Easy.
Cav's still running around, by the way, for Nicov, but he has all but given up on those. As there's more traps, and there's a bombard cannon as well underneath the castle. Nikov's losing
fine.
the
He's
side.
got murder holes. He's got murder holes.
Well,
it's fine.
People have been murdered.
Look at the army.
People have been murdered. It's credulation time. Let's go.
Perfect.
Actually, a great tech to have. Would love to see the ballistics tech as well. This castle now becomes even more of a weapon. But Dave,
I guess my question here for Nicov is like, why has this been so difficult?
Yeah. Tried to make a really hard switch into hand cannon. Said we thought cav and hand cannon, right? But when those castles come up at your base, it's hard to get the balance and make the right decision. So I think that's part of it too. So credit to Vinch for really smashing him in the face here with something. But Nicov defends. The bomber cannons come out. It'll snipe the trebs now. Great patience. Now I think Vinch should just try full Cavalier. Just try it. Because you got to catch Nicov off guard with something.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to try for the Halb hand cannon approach as well, but doing the same thing as an opponent.
When they're already
better
ahead of you.
civilization than you.
Yeah.
Really rough.
4 relics for Nicov as well. Things have settled down a little bit for him and definitely will once this castle goes down. And
also,
starting to make a few more
has
Cavalier too.
Nicov has redemption. right? With Teuton's much better monk tech tree, so
Yep.
even if he's not sniping bomber cannons with his Crenellation castles, he can convert them too.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think in the new patch, this is actually in the old patch, but I'm pretty sure they proposed a nerf to Frank castle cost, right?
Yeah,
which
it's 500
surprised
and
me.
something.
I'm surprised they did, because I mean, do that 4 years ago, fine, but surprised me. And now we're gonna see Crenellations in this game, 12 range on Castle Fire. Teutons have so many other bonuses.
Castle on the right side denied by Nicov.
That's such a good find for Nicov.
There.
Yep. I just build
Castle
another castle
forward
next to
is
your.
going to go down.
Build a castle next to your Treb here, Nicov, on the front. And there's no way that Vinchester can get close to you with bombard cannons. That's the beautiful thing about Crenellations. You wouldn't need Bodkin yet, but... Dave, I mean, we're looking at a 200 pop game, but with Cav in the back again from Nicov harassing, and just with a really strong civilization, it's like he read Vinchester from the start. We could be looking at Vinch in need of winning 3 straight games to get back to Platinum, which he won the first season.
Yep. Teutons versus Franks. I mean, if it gets to 200 pop and both players have good eco, Teutons are always going to win. Siege Engineers coming in from Vinchester. He's still holding on to that castle, but not for long. Forward, and that castle is going to go down. He does have bombard cannons here. Remember, we mentioned the redemption possibility, but you don't even need redemption when you can just run in with the Cavalier and snipe it.
Yep, and Nicov was so patient there, was waiting for it. And he will make a castle now pretty casually on the right side, which would mean that Vinch's castle there should never go up. Vinch is gonna lose his middle control now. He doesn't have as much vision and map control as Nicov does on golds and stones. And Paladin's now on the way. This is it, but I mean, still no final armor. You gotta get that armor, I think, in combination with the Paladin upgrade.
Hand cannons versus hand cannons. Nikov's winning that one.
Yep.
And Crenellation's castle. Oh, that one is just going to get denied, but there's 3 Trebs working away.
For now.
With his Cavalier.
Yeah.
He can run in there and snipe that with his Cavalier and repair the castle. He can save that.
He's really focused.
Now. He needs to buy stone. He had 1 stone in the bank. He gave him the option to repair, but doesn't have anything.
He saw they started to repair, so he thought they'd continue to, but I don't think it'll matter here, Dave. I think Nicov will take those Trebs. Vinch's castle still almost down. Vinch is hanging in here, but his bomber cannons get sniped again. And it's just going to be a continuous cycle of the same. And on a map like this where there's gold everywhere and Nicov has the relics, I guess should be really difficult for Vinchester to have a chance back into this game. Great use from the monks. Nicov not engaging with his Cavalier, fully anyways. Now catching up on that armor. Paladin's in, though, and Paladin's enough to at least lose this emotionally if you're Vinchester. Because you already know it's bad, and then you see Paladin, too, and
is that a stone?
Pretty sure you know.
Oh, he buys some more, and he starts repairing again. Okay.
Nicov getting block printing, so his monks have a bit more range. Not sure if he actually researched redemption. I know he has it available. And it's still back and forth stuff here. There's not many Paladins on our screen. They're all coming in now from Nicov. And Vinchester wants to keep this castle up.
The Paladin are over on the left side, preventing the expansion. There's 1 Paladin in the woodline from Vinchester behind.
Yep, that's huge.
He's holding on to this castle, but, like, it's going to go down eventually, and all of the little things behind are not working for you.
Yep. And you're probably not noticing the little things behind because you're so fixated on this push. Great job from Vinch to keep producing here, honestly. I thought he would have lost the position a long time ago, but I think one more wave of Paladins from Nicov and all this starts to die. And again, Vinchester will soon run out of gold. He does not have much gold income at all. He's evacuating his base on the left side, headed for wood even, which Nicov could find.
That guy did some work behind 14 villager kills on that 1 Paladin. More hand cannons now coming out. The hand cannons from Vinchester are doing a decent job. But now Nicov targets the other castle. He's got more Trebs coming, and he's got more reinforcements coming as well. And the Paladin that were covering the left side have now come into the base from Vinchester.
Yeah, they just click him right back there, Nicov. If you've... 1 Paladin killed 12 villagers. If you've got 30 back there, or I guess it'd be more like, 10... And there's going to need to be more respect from Vinchester, but Vinchester
coming
keeps
for that
pushing.
Castle. There's 3 trebs here, though. That foundation goes down as soon as it goes up.
Nicov really needs Bodkin and Ballistics, by the way. His castle's missing some shots that he would otherwise hit with those upgrades. But yeah, you're right. It feels like you build a castle that you immediately need to defend.
It doesn't even complete, dude.
Yikes.
Yep.
Vinch now down to 100 villagers. Nicov still sitting at a healthy 145. Still with the map control. Still with relics. And just a more not really a more scalable army, just a stronger army, right? Like
just a better army.
Franks can't do anything more except for their own paladin, I suppose. And even then, I think Teuton paladins win the 1v1 because of the armor. It's probably really close. But it's too late, obviously, to be able to have the gold to go for that.
Look at all the barracks on the left side, too. Like, what
Yep.
are we cooking over here? Nice mining camp, Nicov. Great job.
I'd like to see an outpost or two. I think having constant vision there is important, but the buildings themselves will give some vision. And yeah, I think Vinch is just... This is just a bad matchup, honestly. Like, game number 1, close game went to Imp. This game here, Nicov just knew how to play this matchup the whole way through. He took no risks whatsoever. And Vinch's push made it sloppy for Nicov at one point because we were questioning Nicov, like, where's this, where's that? But ever since Nikov's defended from it, it's just been textbook, dude. Textbook Teutons from here. And hand cannons continue to push from both, but the halbs should disappear, and I guess that's one thing maybe Nicov could do on his own. He's getting infantry armor. But I think just like in the first game where Vinch was playing on for a while, Vinch knows he's dead, but he just wants to be sure of it before he calls it. He might call it here.
There's these 3 trebs getting set up and attacking that castle. Once that castle's down, you're dead.
Yep.
You're losing more villagers in the back, too. Eco KD is 90-9.
Yeah, and you sell off some extra wood for one last little push here to get a bit more gold if you're Nicov. Get the halb upgrade, and the GG is called, and it was a wally, campy, low-risk Lance Madness game, but Nikov's up 2-0 now, and Nicov, he's looking good, man. I just don't know if Vinchester can win 3 straight against him, but he's got to take it one game at a time from here.
Just consistent, right? Vinch, like, if you're up against Teutons there, the last thing you want to do is get late game.
Yep.
The last thing. Even if you see your opponent is fully walling, I feel like you have to try and punish him. Obviously, it's more difficult against Teutons because if you come forward with like towers and stuff, their towers are going to be better.
Yeah, it's tough.
But you still, you have to do something, right?
Maybe scout tower, right? Nikov's just sitting behind his walls. Open up those walls. Surprise him with a lot of scouts.
He was scared of Teutons, man. I think he was just scared of Teuton towers.
Yeah, but how often do we talk about great pick of civilizations on like Arena, great pick on migration, Japanese, Italian, so good there. This is just a great pick from Nicov because he probably guessed that Vinchester was going to go for Franks. Just going to take a quick look at the draft. Frank's second pick for Vinch. Land Madness is his home map, right? Portuguese, the other pick for Vinch. Zawal's the home map. So you just know it's like Portuguese is going to be Zawal for Vinch. Franks is going to be Lance Madness. And so that later pick of Teutons was excellent from Nicov.
Well, to be fair, if you're Vinchester, you kind of know it's Teutons on Land Madness.
True.
As well.
Yeah, maybe. It's not like any of those other civs are going to be played there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Vietnamese a couple times, but Franks are decent against them as well. So I don't.
Yeah, maybe like later on in the draft, Vinchester needed to have like a Cav Archer Civ, like a Huns or something. But yeah, obviously the gameplay here, the biggest thing. And, you know, we just assume that everyone's going to be able to play their bonuses perfectly.
I think you got to go Khmer there.
Khmer, yeah. Scorpions, Ballistas maybe, maybe
Arbalest.
Boom. Yeah, Arbalest. Yep. It's an option. But Nicov has looked as we expected in the series, right? And he's looked not flawless, but on top of it the whole way through. Here we are, game 3. Can Vinchester turn it around? Can he give us a series here? Because coming into the 4 deciders, I thought Vinchester Nicov would be the closest. And thus far, it has not been. We have Vinch with his very first pick. We've got Portuguese on Zawal, and Nikov's gone for the Spanish here, dude. What do you think about the Spanish?
Inquisition monks.
Genuinely think it could happen.
Sappers, send it.
genuinely think it could happen. There's also a world where I think, and no, probably like no one's going to do this, but seeing as these walls are just 1080 HP,
like a feudal age,
like tower scout play could be really strong and make it messy.
And people don't usually have loom either. So if you manage to break through at a unsuspecting place where they're not scouting, you could kill a bunch of vills before they realize.
Yeah.
Now, but it takes time, right? And they're probably going to be in Castle Age by the time you get through there.
Now, the usual assumption, though, when you see Spanish on a closed map is that it's going to be Fast Castle and Conquistadors.
Conks.
And so I don't think that's bad either. You build the castle quickly with the Spanish. Conks can kill everything, it feels like, even in low numbers. So, but I'm with you. I think there was a game where I think it was like the first week, and it was as Nikov's villager isn't chopping that tree. Okay, he got it. I think Nilly actually with Spanish against Bohemians went Inquisition monks once. And it worked, if I'm not mistaken. It was like against FedEx or Repart. I forget which. So, considering people typically build castles and rush imp on this map, and that's a Castle Age technology, it could be worth it in a monk war.
Big Nilly energy. All right, so the tigers are not near the boar.
Which is really nice.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is really nice. Yeah, the tigers are a bit random on this map, so they can... The players got to keep an eye out for them.
I think Nilly did the Palisade trick for every single tiger.
Please tell me Vinch is going to realize this.
Yeah, it's going to be fine, dude.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or he's going to get sniped from in between the wall segments. No. He brings the scout over. Yeah. Very calmly deals with that. Nice job.
I missed what you were saying.
Just don't go forward with that Vill.
I missed what you were saying about Nilly, sorry.
He did the Palisade trick for every single one. So you... And Vinchester is now taking in the boar with his scout. Very interesting. Very
he'll have. I think he'll have monks.
Because he can heal it up.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cute. I like it. Yeah, I remember he used to do this on Arena though when he wouldn't heal up his scout, and it used to bother me. So initially it bothered me, but I think it'll be okay. People are asking when Platinum starts. Real quick, Platinum starts Saturday. Basically, all Platinum games are happening Saturday through Tuesday for the next 4.5, 5 weeks. There may be some variation from that, but that's the schedule. Farms now for Nicov, so no feudal age scout play, which makes me a little sad, but this is the safer play. And still thinking he might eventually send villagers to stone and gold for the fast castle, but I think Vinch... He probably will go for something along the lines of what Dark tried earlier today and go for a faster imp, castle, organs, monks. I don't know.
Is it Sunday as well? People were asking. Is it Sunday for Platinum League?
Yeah.
So it's like just Saturday to Wednesday? Okay.
Yeah, Saturday to Tuesday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And the plan, obviously it's difficult when you have so many sets each week, is to have 3 sets a day of play all 3s. But, like, foresee it to be 2 sets on one day and then 4 another, and then, you know, it just depends on player schedules and all that good stuff. Yep. But it's structured a bit differently than Gold, so we have time slots for live, so 16, 18, and 20 GMT each day, and then if players won't meet that time live, they always play with private recs. So nothing's spoiled, right? And there's always dedicated time for things, ideally. We'll see. Did you happen to do predictions yet for Platinum?
No. My only prediction is that Sobek is going to win.
Sobek is going to what?
Win the group.
Win the group?
No, I can't, dude. I can't.
Isn't he in Viper, Tato, and Leary's group?
He's in the super group of death. Yeah, with Vivi and Classic Pro and everyone else in there. Yeah.
I think he's going to be overrated. I'll just say, or not overrated, underrated is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because we've known him, but I feel like most viewers don't know him, and he was first place in Gold, like no contest last season. So there's a reason for that. But I could tell you that some of the promoted players who are going to aim to stay alive in Platinum have been training like crazy. And many of the players who are playing here in this season of Gold, who are going to be in Deciders and whatnot, they're just practicing with those big names this whole time.
Vinchester lost to Ville somewhere.
What? Huh?
Yep. I don't know if he lost it to the boar. I don't know what happened.
Well, the
but he lost to
Weakville,
Village.
he must have lost it.
The Weakville is still alive. He must have lost it to a boar. Or
what?
I don't see a body. I don't see any kills on the tigers.
Yeah.
I don't see any. But that tiger is no longer there to the right side. So it looks like
he did
there
lose
is a villager body there.
Oh my god. Okay, so lost the villager to the tiger. It was a new tiger. And I feel like I do have to say, in Vinchester's defense, that there is a game bug, which we reported, where players do not hear an attack notification from wild animals if they're attacked by them. And we notified the players, and we chose not to remove the wild animals from this map because it could change the strat entirely because players would just rush middle every time. And technically, some of the players have to look towards, yes. You know, there's nothing else happening. Maybe you should notice that if you're building a house. Yes. But also in Vinchester's defense, the game is kind of bugged. So it's kind of crappy that happened.
How many low elo players, how many villagers do you think have been lost to boars just standing still and not luring it in due to that bug?
Well, it's only custom
Let's
maps.
be honest. Oh, it's only custom. Okay, let's be honest. They'd lose the Ville anyway.
They'd lose the Ville anyway. True.
Yeah.
But yes, it's only custom maps. It's not on, like, if you load up and play ranks, all those maps are seen as, like, standard. It's rather specific bug. And not the first time it happened. The first time it happened was when we heard about it. And Nicov was actually the one who reported it.
Nikov's going fast imp here? Or is he just going castle drop? He won't have the food, I think. He does have 7 on gold?
You might not have got what you wanted with the Dramans earlier, but I think you're going to get Inquisition. Because you add this much eco for a fast imp.
Yep.
And I mean, certainly we have the castle come up. We will probably see some monks.
I mean, Inquisition is a castle H tech. It's not an Imperial H tech, so.
Yeah. But he did pull a lot off of wood, so now I don't know. It feels like he is not going to have lots of monasteries. Also, pretty sure Nicov... Oh, no, he did fully wall.
I think this is a fast imp, dude. This is a fast imp, for sure. Adding more farms. He's going to try and get up. I don't think he can click up right away, but he needs time to build that castle anyway.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to buy the stone. Yikes.
That's fine.
I don't know about that.
He's factored it in. He's done the math.
Does he lose a villager to these 4 tigers that are all in the same area?
I mean, he could. Some players will place palisades over them when they scout them earlier. Moonwalking Ville.
Moonwalk!
Boom. Yeah, if you've got a group, it should be fine. And there he goes again. And it'll be kind of funny because Nicov will see the scout from Vinch. Do you make it in a position where it somehow kills the scout?
Maybe. I mean, that would help, right? But Vinchester pulls that away.
Yeah.
He's going for double monastery, and he's going to snag the relics, and both players have 3 relics this time.
Yep.
Vinchester goes for a second TC as well. And Nicov is just producing bills from this 1 TC. He's got 550 food. If he wants to produce conks, that's going to take away from his food count. It's going to delay his Imperial Age.
Is this the best castle placement ever? Does that range that scout?
Let's do the math.
With fletching, I think it does.
3, 4, 5, 6. I think it does range the scout anyway.
That would be so sick, dude, because the scout can't see it.
And
no! Get fletching. No, don't attack the wall. No.
Oh, Vinchester's out of there.
I think Vinch saw the arrows there, and that's good heads up play from Vinch. Or he's actually just trying to heal this, which he needed to do anyways. Well, still could lose it. Now he sees it, and now he knows that there will be conks coming through. That's funny.
Only one conch though so far. I think Nicov really wants to go up to him. He's prioritizing that.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to spend food on conquistadors, but he wants Vinchester to think he is.
Yes. And then Vinch will make a ton of more monks and really think about heavy Castle Age play.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you do when you're on the way to Inn? You get Inquisition, right?
Yep.
Look
at this house wall from Vinchester. Just all the way across. This is beautiful.
If he loses the Monk War and Nicov has Redemption, this is going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a lot of houses getting converted.
That's charge up points where you can shift them to the other units. I mean, that is an issue, especially when you want to maybe go for Fetorias. If all your population space is at the front, that could be really bad.
But I think Vinch has made the right call. Donkey? He's making a missionary? Nicov.
He's making a donkey.
What?
He's making a donk.
Tell me he's going to go missionary Inquisition here. No, he actually made it.
He's going to go missionary Inquisition.
No freaking way. Uh-oh. Oh, Vinch with the moves.
Oh, what a gamer.
Okay,
no. The castle's attacking the wall. It's attacking the wall.
Oh, was it?
It wasn't targeting the scout. Yeah, it was attacking the wall.
Missionary would have been able to get away from that.
The wall, as I should say.
Yeah, true. Get it right.
It wasn't even targeting the scout.
Okay, so, I mean, Vinch is going to click up. He's got a bit of a boom lead. It's not crazy, though, in all honesty. And he will be able to drop a castle. It's just, where do you drop it? Because if you drop it too far forward, it could be trebbed down once Nicov creeps in here. Inquisition. Inquisition. Give us Inquisition. Let's go, Nicov. It's 300 food and something after that.
Where are his legs?
Ooh.
The missionary.
The missionary? It's underneath his little cloak, dude. You could see his foot.
Oh, okay.
You could see his foot. Don't make fun of him. He's short. He's got tiny legs. Right. That's why he has to be on the donkey.
Okay.
I didn't realize the donkeys had those majestic beards, though. Oh, Vinch! Oh, my goodness.
Nice snipe.
That's the second one. And Castle and Inquisition. Did he get Atonement yet? Can he convert those monks from Vinch?
I don't think he got Atonement. No, but he does have a scout here. That's not going to be enough. The conch is deleted. 2 villagers have been converted, though, and the missionaries need to retreat from the scout. They will get away faster from this thing than the monks, and Nicov is legitimately going into missionaries here. This is crazy. And what is happening?
Why, when you think it's fast imp, would you drop your castle there if you're Vinch, though? That is just a target, is it not? The trebs are already coming.
Maybe he thought Nicov went from where conquistadors, right? Maybe he wasn't suspecting the fast imp were hitting that timing, but Nicov has 4 monasteries. He's getting Atonement. He's getting block printing. He misses out on 1 range versus or rather 2 range versus the monks with these missionaries.
Yep. And I think the momentum's there for Nicov. Nikov's going to go back to platinum with what many people think is a meme, but you don't see Inquisition make sense that frequently. Mm-hmm. And hey, players like mobile units, if you're not a big monk guy, maybe you're going to be a missionary guy instead.
Redemption could be massive here for Nicov. I think he has a queued. That disappeared somewhere. Does he have it queued? No, he does not.
I want to see him.
Could be huge, because then he converts all the houses and everything. You can convert the Feitoria.
I was going to say convert the freaking Feitoria, dude. That's the play. But Nicov, the second he saw this castle from Vinchester, I'm sure he knew.
He got the Vil! He got it so quick with Inquisition. You see how quick that was, like 2 was, or whatever they say. That was 2.
We got Fervor coming in as well, which will apply to these bad boys. Could get stable upgrades as well, but I don't think we'll see that. And Vinchester about to get swept here by missionaries, of all things. And his population is going to be so bad.
And the Vil lead just keeps swinging. These are massive swings when he converts.
Bye, monks.
And those
say goodbye.
Villagers are not going to be able
inquisitioned.
to kill the Inquisition monks too quickly. Bloodlines would be really useful. Sanctity would be really useful for Nicov here. The Trebs are coming, and Vinchester just doesn't seem to have a solution. There is no solution.
No, there's no solution. You will get converted. The solution is to accept your fate. You will be blue, or you resign. And Nicov wins 3-0. Nikov's going to be back in platinum. I'm so happy for him. and pulling out the strats. We had Teutons on Lands Madness. We have Inquisition Missionaries here against Portuguese, which is the #1 pick. Everyone's been going Portuguese. That was insane. What a performance.
It's crazy too, because like initially you think the missionaries aren't as good, right? But Nicov used the mobility on them.
Yeah,
he saved them from the scout. He looped around, so he was behind the castle position, which you rightly mentioned was just not a good castle from Vinchester. But he clearly misread the situation and thought Nicov would be later to Imperial Age than himself. But that's some spiciness coming from Nicov, and that's just fantastic.
Yeah, seriously.
Really good result.
That's awesome. I mean, what do you want in a mixed map tournament? You want variety of strategy, and you want surprising your opponent in the big moments. And that's precisely what this was. Nicov could have come in here. He could have gone for every single pick that everyone else has done, and he could have also beaten Vinch. He's that good. But he used both today. He used his strategy. He used his skill. Nicov will be back in plat next season after this result. And then Vinchester is going to be back in gold. And, when that happens, I think Vinchester is going to be one of the favorites to, win it first in his group or, move through the playoffs. But has to be said, Vinch just not bringing the level that he can bring, and he's got to figure some things out possibly with Age of Empires right now, which is a little sad to see. I love Vinchester,
Well, Vinchester's still going to be around. It's not like,
Yeah, it's not like he's like, it's not like his career's over. It's just, top 5, top 10 player in some people's minds. Is not quite there right now. Dang.
Nicov is, though. That was sick.
Yeah, that was really sick. 8 conversions swung that game. And it would have obviously gotten a whole lot worse for him. I really wanted to see him convert a Faitoria. So I'm not the only one on the other end of that, but sick. And you called it, too.
I mean, even if Vinchester were to play on there, Nicov just converts all his houses. And there's no pop space. There's no pop space. And you get all the vills too, so he probably just belligerently drops like a castle or something forward.
Yeah. It would not have taken that long for all of the red here to
everything
be blue.
would be defeated.
Yep. Everything would have
just
switched
literally
sides.
defeated. That's crazy. Nicov wins on both Vinchester's home maps too.
Yeah, seriously, we didn't even get to see Nicov on his home maps. So great stuff. And guys, with that is gold over for this season. We had players relegated out of gold. We had obviously the players survive, and then the playoffs are pretty insane as well. Congratulations to the 8 names that end up moving up the plat for the next season. Do want to just take a moment to touch on that. Just like the final 8 players that moved up was Sebastian in Group A. And then actually 3 players from Group A. Sebastian, he won the group, so he moved on. Hart then won his playoff, so he moved on. And then Nicov just won his playoff, so he's on as well. In Group B, it was just one player, Kapoch, who ended up winning his group, who's on to plat. Group C, we have Sato in first place, and then Dragonstar joining him. And then in Group D, we had MBL, who was first, and then Dark, who won his playoff. So really good stuff. And I really enjoyed watching the players who aren't moving on to Platinum as well, right? Like seeing Target and Yax and Nilly and all these guys try and play that whole survival game in these killer groups was a good time as well. TTL Gold was sick.